If you want to see and know what narcissism feels and look like and act like, literally like that, well, welcome to this awesome video. But first, it's important that before we start, if you haven't done so, consider dropping me a like and subscribe if you haven't done so, because it helps with the algorithm and the channel will be very appreciative. But if you wanted to do more, you have options in the description below. Pick the one that fits you best. Oh, my English. But we're friends. You understand what I'm trying to say. And if you're new here, I'm Alistair and Zekio. This is just my point of view. Let's get started. Oh, by the way, there is a particular participant who is an actual real life friend of mine. And for those who've been in this channel with me for a long time, you can kind of figure out who it is. But I'll be very surprised to know if you can figure this out. Anyway, I'll reveal it to you later on at the end of the video. But yeah, let's go. Let's watch this.
Our first prompt is, I have felt disgusted looking at a fat body. Can our agreeers please step forward?
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Whoever feels compelled to start us off.
Well, it's unacceptable to be fat.
Okay. Again, I'm being considerate for people that have triggers, but listen, there is nothing disgusting about a human being for just being who they are. So the question itself may seem inappropriate to a lot of people, but the reason why he asked this question, this is from the channel Jubilee, is to start the conversation. But again, let's stay in topic, because the operating flow really is about the narcissistic that is hiding among, the mass population. Pay attention to the person who volunteered to be the first one to answer.
Okay. That's a great start. I mean, I know why you say that, but it's one of those things where, do you know why you're saying that?
Yes, because I've been fat before and I lost the weight.
Well, me too. I've been fat my whole life. I've been way skinnier than I am now, and I've been way heavier than I am now. Was I less valuable at one point in there?
Well, I mean, you can make an argument that you're less valuable when you're fatter because you drain resources, but that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I mean, in general, being fat is unacceptable because...
Okay. I'm going to put allege. That guy who's talking, allegedly a full-blown narcissist. And the thing that makes it even scarier about this is that he has a following. This is not a nobody. This is someone that is known. So let's just divert a little bit to give you some insight on this lunatic, allegedly. So that guy that you're going to see a lot of, his name is Myron Gaines, and he's a YouTube star. And he has a podcast. His podcast is called Fresh and Fit. It's on his shirt. I'm going to give you a grosso modo situation here, and he's a jerk, allegedly. Oh my God, lawsuits. Yeah, he's a jerk, allegedly. But listen, because he focuses, his MO is self-improvement for males. But he does so by telling the guys to exercise and work out and treat women like poop, according, allegedly, to his memo. Lawsuits. But listen, we're going to continue with this Jubilee video, but keep it in mind that this guy is completely insecure. I'm going to say allege here. But when if you look online, if you look on Reddit, if you look at some of the stuff that's out there, apparently he is a closeted homosexual, allegedly, and explains a lot why he doesn't like women, allegedly, and and in my opinion, and allegedly, he's a complete full-blown narcissist. So as we're going to sit there and watch this video, just keep it in mind, he's an insecure boy with nothing to show or prove. And also, because he's an alleged narcissist, you can't shame him into anything. But just know that he's little. Small man. That's it. He might have more money than you, sure, because of all his follower and whatever. But he ain't shit, allegedly. Let's continue.
Because you control every single morsel of food that goes into your mouth.
Okay.
It shows a lack of discipline, it shows a lack of character, it shows a lack of temperance, and when you're fat, it's an outward manifestation of your inadequacies.
When I see somebody who's 500 or 600 pounds, all I can think of is, why do they care so little about their health that they can do this, allow themselves to gain that much weight, knowing it's taken 20, 30, 40 years off their life? I just can't imagine not wanting to live that badly.
I understand that. No, it's I've definitely felt disgusted looking at my own body and looking at other fat bodies in my life. A lot of the disgust I felt looking at people was me feeling disgusted with myself and then projecting that feeling onto other people. And I don't think anyone on either side will disagree that health is important. I know that my own mental health was way worse when I was spending every fixate of my life trying to get smaller and trying to be thinner.
I don't think there's anyone that can look at somebody 500, 600, 700 pounds and not think, wow, what have they done? And not be disgusted. Like, how can you not? I just can't understand.
You can't
nobody
assume that
thinking
everyone
that.
has the same opinion, though, because unfortunately, some people have emotional stuff that happened, traumatic stuff that's happened, so you can't discount and just say, oh, because they're fat.
Boo-hoo, man. Like, there's way worse stuff going out in the world versus
Absolutely.
people saying, oh my God, I'm sad, I'm gonna eat some ice cream. It's like, no, dude, it's like, you're fat, you made that decision, you live in the best country ever. If you live in a civilized first world country where you have electricity, internet power, etc., you deserve to be bullied. It's ridiculous to me that we have all these fat people running around, meanwhile people are being bombed in Gaza. It's ridiculous.
So already you can somewhat, wow, this is actually quite hard to listen. I mean, I know I have a smile on my face, I'm giggling and all that stuff, but you know, behind the scenes in my little cabeza here, there's a lot being processed. Number one, for anyone who's incapable of understanding somebody else's point of view, right? You don't have to adopt it, but not be able to comprehend means you're small-minded. You know what that means? You're not even worth having a conversation with. That means you're wasting your time. I'm gonna go back to the guy Greg saying like, I don't understand people who are 600 pounds. Like, how can they not? How can they not? It's just so he's not traveled. And these people, look, listen, don't make any mistake. You know, these are people with some form of somewhat good incomes, right? Use it and travel and educate yourself a little bit more, right? Small-minded. Let me tell you something. Have you ever been in a room with people who are small-minded? It's absolutely exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. By the time you leave that room, you're completely brain dead. And this is it. This is it. Just because you don't understand something does not mean it's not true. Just because it's not real to you does not mean it's not real for somebody else. Right? Don't be so angry at, what's his name? Myron. Don't be so angry at Myron. Listen, just to remind you, he's a small man. And he's not even that cute. Doesn't he become even less more attractive, even for the heteros? Don't you even become less? But the sad thing is that he has a following of admirers. It's okay. There's plenty of them out there. It's okay, girls. We'll figure this out. Pay attention, Alistair. Where am I? Oh, right. So before we continue, just keep in mind, again, to remind everybody, someone in that panel is a real friend of mine, and I'll reveal who that person is somewhat to the end, right? Stay and watch. Come on. I got a channel to upkeep. And not subscribe.
It's ridiculous. We are so privileged here in the United States and in the West in general. When I see a fat person, I'm like, wow, you got the gift of life. You got the gift of being in a developed country, and you're a fat POS talking about body positivity on TikTok? What the hell is going on
But now you're
here?
segmenting, though, because not everyone thinks like that. What do you
No, we
call
need
it?
to bring shaming back.
Okay.
We need to bring shaming back in so many other regards besides obesity. We need to do it with sluts. We need to shame fat people. We need to shame everybody when they fuck up. Because shame has been one of the strongest defenses against degeneracy and human fuck-ups.
You had a personal experience you wanted to share. You said you used to be overweight. Now you're not.
Oh yeah. So I did an experiment back in like 2015 where I like bulked for like almost 2 years, and I got up to like 250 pounds, and then I dieted down. It took me about 7 months. I systematically did it, controlled my calories, tracked my macros, tracked my protein, carbs, fats, and systematically lost 1 to 2 pounds per week.
So you chose to gain up to 250.
Yeah,
you were
so
naturally
I've been in
skinny
all
beforehand.
spectrums. Like, I'm naturally skinny.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna get fat as an experiment.
Yeah.
Did it, and then I was like, all right, now I'm gonna lose the weight. And then all I did was just track my calories, ate the same food every single day.
Yeah.
Went to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, and everything was controlled and it got done. Was it monotonous? Of course. Was it boring? Of course.
I agree with you there. I am naturally this way. This is with working out 4 or 5 times
That's
a week.
not true.
This is 100% true, bro.
No.
So, yeah. So he said bring shaming back and how shame is one great protector from degeneracy. So let me just debunk this. Now, one great protector from degeneracy is education. If you want to solve or prevent degeneracy, education is key, awareness. Another thing also when it comes to fat shaming or even shame sluts and whatnot, you know, it's all relative. It's all relative. And you know what? I didn't grow up here in the US. I grew up in France. And during my high school times, during my times of learning years, that word didn't exist. It didn't exist. So depending on the person in question, SLUTS may mean nothing, right? Again, it's an example of the lack of culture. Well, his lack of culture and education. But to go back to the topic at hand in terms of why this is great narcissism in display, look how he is suffocating the entire stage about me. And let me give you a tip of how to handle people who are very me. And let's say you're not able to walk away. Let me tell you what you do. You meet them exactly where they are. You do eye contact and you rebuttal everything with education and knowledge if you can. Because if they sense any ounce of weakness, they will pounce and dominate. A narcissist will always cower in front of people they know, oh crap, I cannot win this, or I don't feel confident and secure enough to win this. He is dominating the room so much that even the moderator, it's like, I don't want to offend. No, you offend all the way. You raise your voice. You go toe to toe. And if I take that back, don't raise your voice, but you go toe to toe. That's how you put them in check, because he is going to ramp up his idiocracies, ramp up his nincompoopness, because nobody and nothing is counteracting his energy. Just put it out there. And that's why I don't have narcissists in my life. They don't last long. Maybe they come for 1 hour. Maybe they realize, oh crap, who is this? Because I don't let that fly. So don't let it fly. Show the mirror to their face. They will just cower.
Can't,
bro.
Nah, bro.
No,
Come to the gym with me.
It's not natural at all, because at the end of the day, if you don't lose weight, by definition, you're not in a calorie deficit. If you're not in a calorie deficit, then you're gonna either maintain or gain weight. And that's the problem, is that people don't track their calories.
And that's true, but people burn at their resting metabolic rate a different set of calories.
Doesn't matter.
That's true. It does matter.
Let's not get too granular right now. Ragini, it's going to be one of those episodes, right? Let's bring in the disagreeers and hear from them.
Okay, so the reason I disagreed, especially when I heard the statement, I don't think I'll ever look at somebody based on their situation and think that I'm disgusted. Like, if I see somebody that's a drug addict on the street that's homeless, I'm not disgusted by that. If I see somebody that's incredibly overweight, I'm not disgusted by that. Do I think that there's an opportunity for growth? Do I think they've been put in a disadvantageous position that's probably makes it harder for them? Absolutely. I think I'm kind of an empath, so when I see somebody, I know that there's things underlying, and one of my best friends is 400 plus pounds. I've helped him lose 150, 200 pounds. He's gained it back. And I don't look at him and say, I'm disgusted, but I know how bad he wants it. And just seeing how hard he tries and then reverts, it's almost more tough for me than to be like, oh, that's disgusting, you know? And I think there's plenty of people that look at me and say, that's disgusting. I never want to look like that.
Yeah.
So like, I know what it feels like on the other side to like look the way I do and get people look at me like, ugh, that's gross to like have that muscle. And to go back to that point, like you came from a fit place and like deciding to bulk, like that's a conscientious decision to gain weight. Like you already have those habit routines and skills in order to stay in shape. And then you use those same skills you had to pull back on the calories and knowledge you had.
The reason why I use that example is that you can get fat and lose.
Yes, rightfully so, right? So now notice the difference in terms of the delivery. That guy, the big muscular guy, The one who looks in better shape than the one who's talking about like, yeah, bring shame back. But again, it's all relative, right? I'm just saying that to put him down. Not like he's going to watch this video. But my whole point is that, yeah, that's the attitude or the energy of someone who clearly has understanding. Yeah. Woo! Now, here we go. Here he goes.
The reason why I use that example is that you can get fat and lose the weight if you know what you're doing and you have the knowledge and everything else like that. It's just about consistency over time. So it's like, I look at it like...
let me cut you off, because here's one thing that you just said.
Yeah.
You had the tools. So there's people that don't have the tools that you've passed judgment on, and you have failed to realize that with the tools, people are very much capable of achieving amazing things. But
okay, let's talk about said
no,
tools.
hold on, I'm not done.
Well, you cut me off
I'm
before,
not done.
remember?
And I stood over there and I listened to you, and I was like, it's a ton of bullshit too.
Sure.
But we're gonna address this, right?
Yeah.
You are passing judgment on people who lack the tools to do what it is that they need to do to get themselves to a certain point of health. There are multitudes of factors that weighs into what goes on with somebody's body. There are people that even if they work out, losing the weight does not come as simple as just going to the gym, cutting calories, watching everything that you eat. There are some people that have a disposition. I have a disposition.
That's right. That's right. So, so anybody who don't know, there is such a term as non-responsive to fitness. That's an actual medical term. It is a situation where the particular person is genetically not responding to fitness. So these people have a hard time, almost to the point of, I don't want to say impossible, but the mountain is so much bigger, their bodies are just non-responsive to fitness factors. They may have good internal numbers, like maybe lower cholesterol, but fitness as you might imagine, like the six-pack, the losing weight, some people are non-responsive to that. They do exist. And so there are multiple factors that come into play. And one of the things that my company does, and this is the reason why I am, where I am, is because one things we tackle is that particular customness to it, right? We work with medical professionals. We work with your doctors. That's what we do. That's what we do. And when that stupid idiot of a person who looks like a rat is sit there talking as if he knows what he's talking about, has no idea. He has no idea. And again, notice how small he becomes when someone interjects into his face and said, oh, wait a minute, boy, have several seats. His demeanor changes, right? Because he's a small boy. He doesn't understand anything, really. Makes me so upset. But I got to tell you something from a business mind point. Genius. Oh, God, this narcissist. They win again. Genius. He's wearing that shirt. I'm sitting here talking about it. He's promoting his genius. Genius. I got to give credit where credit's due. That was a smart move for him. Yeah. Damn it. Anyway, let's listen to some of the stuff he has to say.
Knew he used to be 600 pounds, and how much you weigh now?
I'm 384.
And now he's 384. Do you see him as less disgusting knowing he's lost 220 pounds?
No, that's fantastic.
I
but
think yes.
There's still work to be done. But here's the thing, like I said before, unfortunately, human beings judge a book by its cover. It's just the world that we live in. Fat people that identify as 97 genders, whatever, they expect us to change our worldview for them, and that's just not how the world works. Like it's been that way. It's always going to be that way.
Worldview? That's
All right,
I think what I don't get.
It's just the world that we're in. Like people are gonna,
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, my bad.
Now let's reset. Jacked men.
So the reason why I put that up is because he said 97 genders. Now look, I have a slick mouth when I talk here. I talk very open, and it might seem, and I do very little editing on my videos just because it's too much work. So it might seem I'm talking without thinking. And you might notice that I blink a lot. And I've told you many times, blinking is an expression of processing power. And at the end of my videos, I'm exhausted because I think before I speak 90% of the time. 97 genders. He just gave himself out in terms of, where he stands politically. Now look, I don't know if that was his intention, But I say all this to say, because in the back of my mind, for him, this is a good marketing ploy. And so he's looking, maybe for new eyeballs. And a certain kind and type of people follow men like him. And by him saying 97 genders, I believe that he said so because he wants to reiterate to whoever he's trying to capture that he is a safe place. You understand what I'm trying to say? Perfect. But, as a cautionary tale to everybody, think before you speak. Yeah. Now we know where he stands. Now we know who he is. Now we know what he likes. Yeah.
Men are more attractive than fat men. Will the agreeers please step forward?
How come there's 4 guys over there? All right, so we're living in a bizarro world where people don't see the truth. Like, how is it possible that they're thinking, no, being obese and unhealthy is more attractive than being fit and healthy? How is this possible?
Actually, you know what? This is precisely why a majority of women find a majority of men as unattractive. Because a lot of guys think this way, oh, I'd just be a nice guy and girls are gonna like me. No, they're not. She's not gonna suck your dick with the same veracity when you're a fat fuck as when you're in shape. She's just not. See, people don't understand that women are aroused by one thing and they're attracted by another thing. Women are attracted to, a guy that's confident, ambitious, makes money, etc. Of course, right? But they're aroused by guys that have asshole tendencies, dark triad traits, etc., and guys that are physically in shape. So if you want to get the best of your woman, where she respects and admires you, while simultaneously being aroused by you so she doesn't cheat on you, you need to have it all.
You're saying that's true for all women?
A majority, a staggering majority of women.
There might be 1% of the world that there's something wrong with them that might think that.
So I had to Google something because I needed to make sure. So he mentioned dark triad traits. All right, dark triad traits, that is narcissism, Machiavellism, and psychopathy. So he's saying, according to his little small head, that women are attracted to people who are narcissists. And, the other two. I want us to listen a little bit as to what somebody else says.
Wrong with them that might think that, yeah, you're 600 pounds, it's so hot, I love that, but.
The hot girls that you actually want, they exercise their hypergamy to the highest degree, and they want guys that are fit and have their money together, have their life together.
You're looking at me like you want to say something.
Yeah, because the question was, are jacked men more attractive? We all walked over. Are we more attracted to jacked men?
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming they framed that because we're all guys here they mean women.
Well, men can be attracted to men.
If I had to
we're just
switch
saying.
teams, I'm going with the jack guy.
Obviously, this is going to be like personal biases, but I think attraction is very fluid in the sense that I can 100% admit, like, there was probably 40 pounds of muscle ago is when most women would be like attracted to me. Of course, like fitness girls, they're totally okay with the size I am, but like probably most girls I'm like too much for. So I guess, like, where do we draw that line of, like, I think, for example, like you would be much more attractive to most women than me. Would you agree with that?
I mean, that doesn't mean that, like, if you walked up to a girl and let's say you're not her, like you're a little bit more muscular.
Right. So his deliveries, it's somewhat similar, but very different. Right. So he delivered the same message without being purposely hurtful, but that guy is delivered the message with the purpose of being a sting, of being rude and crude and crass. He's trying to evoke an emotion because he wants you to go there and hate him and check out his Fresh and Fit podcast. No, I get it. I get it. Please, I do marketing for my businesses as well. I get it. I understand. But it's who he is. And frankly, honestly, women are attracted to that. Listen to me very closely, okay? Because attraction is relative. That's why. Attraction is relative. It's relative. You can't blanket everything all into one box. It's relative. Again, stupid. Yeah. Let's listen to the other guys.
That's a different episode.
That's all right. Figure it out.
Yeah. I disagreed mostly just with the blanket statement because attraction is so subjective. I am a big and tall model by trade. That's what I do. I model clothing brands. I've modeled with major fashion houses. I've been on the covers of magazines. You mentioned before dad bod comments and whatnot on social media. I was flabbergasted when I started how many people were commenting and DMing me and talking about how attractive I was, that it just kind of, I don't know, showed me that attraction is a lot more subjective than I thought, and people have a much wider range of what they find attractive than specifically a body type.
Is being jacked the most important trait for being attractive? I'd argue for guys, it'd probably be otherwise, right? I think height would be a very
Money,
component.
height, fame, like what can you bring to the table?
The number one thing is status. By far, status.
People also go after what they think they can get. So if this guy is 6'5" and extremely attractive, and it's like, well, I can't get that guy. I'm attracted to the 10 on 10 supermodel, but I'm not going to get her, so I'll be happy with the 9.9 on 10.
So there is some scientific truth to what he just said there. People do go to what they think they can take. Yeah, there's some truth to that. So if you think of yourself as a 7, you tend to gravitate and go after people that you view as a 7, right? It's some interesting laws of attraction. But anyway, so as you mentioned, one of the guys there is a model, is a tall and fit model, a tall and fat model, right? Yeah. Again, guys, stick around to the end. I'll tell you who of this panel is my real life friend. Yeah. And for those who know me, you probably guessed already. But for those who don't, I'll tell you who it is. Yeah.
It was very broad. That's what I mean. But of course, you need to be able to look at the mirror and respect the man that you see looking back at you. When you look back and you see the guy and you're in shape, etc., and you feel good about yourself, look good, feel good. A byproduct of that is that women just tend to find you more attractive. It all works together in tandem.
Are you happy with the way you look?
Of course. But I had to work to build this physique, and it took many years. I was an athlete in college, I was a Division I athlete. It took many years to be able to do this. So
What'd you play?
I rowed in college, crew.
Oh, sweet.
Rowing, yeah.
I like rowing.
So I think when fat people look at the mirror and they say, oh, I like that, that's coat, man. No, you don't. They say that to try to bring themselves up, but the reality is most of the time when you're fat, you look in the mirror, you're like, damn, I really let myself go.
Not every
You're
fat
like, you know what?
person-
It's not that much of a priority, so fuck it.
Abe didn't get to answer the question going around.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as you just because I feel like I don't agree with the blanket statement. Personally, for myself as a gay man, I find myself attractive. I would say like I go for guys like you as well, and I feel like I get a lot of hits on those types of guys, and I'm pretty content with how I navigate my attraction, and I think it goes a lot to the status and their confidence. So, like we said, so.
All right, let's go to the next prompt.
But when you're fat, it says a lot about you. People aren't going to sit there and be like, let me see if he's a good person. No, they're just going to assume that you're lazy, which you are, by the way, when you're fat, and you don't have discipline, which you are, by the way. So they're just going to assume off of what they see. That's the world they live in.
I love how you stated a shit ton of assumptions. You didn't state not one fact. You just stated assumptions.
So it's not a single problem.
Oh no, I'm not saying there's not a single problem. To me, body positivity is more about bodily autonomy. Like you were mentioning wanting to lose weight. My whole thing is like, yeah, it's your body, do whatever you want with it. I don't think I, as a human being, have a right to tell any of you what to do with your bodies. Body positivity kind of comes in and go, okay, you as a human being have inherent value. Just in the fact that you are a conscious soul on this planet, you have an inherent value.
Okay.
You are within a vessel of your body that you do have control over, but at the same time, you're not less valuable to society or from the standpoint of the soul for what your body looks like.
When I'm speaking about body positivity, I'm talking.
I agree 100%. Everything he just said is exactly what I would have said. That's right. No commentary needed.
I'm talking about the over-acceptance and encouragement of being obese.
So I personally, again, I'm not super online, have not seen anybody pro-obesity ever.
Lizzo.
Oh, there's a bunch, dude.
She loves herself.
Nick Ocado avocado.
No, there's a big
They are
difference.
actively promoting obesity.
She's not telling anyone to get fat.
She's showing you exactly how to do it and saying, look at my body as I love and
saying
rub it.
she's
It's giving me
happy.
life. And she's like joking around.
And
that's
also,
the
I want to
whole thing.
clarify. And see, here's the thing. There's a bunch of fat influencers that push this body positivity situation, and a bunch of them are dead now. No one talks about that. That didn't hit mainstream news.
So I'm in that space.
Yeah.
Which influencers are you talking about? Because
I don't recall their names, but there's a couple of them that
course.
passed away. They're YouTubers. They do.
Of course, I'm telling you, narcissist. Listen, they will talk a big game. The moment you sit down and start dissecting, they crumble because there's nothing in their cabeza. They literally have nothing to give. They have nothing to give. In my perfect world, narcissistic people will put on an island and they'll go farm. Come on, food production for the world, because they have nothing to give. Honestly, they're useless in my mind. Allegedly, they are useless members of society, and they're dangerous. I told you how dangerous they are. So you see, the guy was like, Zach was like, okay, so who? Like, if he was, because he talked with such conviction, he would have tell you X, Y, Z. You know, he has nothing to say.
Do these mukbangs where they eat a bunch of food on
You
camera.
know,
Mukbang
that's
is a
totally
total- okay,
different.
okay, but that's a
they're not
mukbang
a
is
part
a
of our
different thing.
community. That's
Yeah.
a completely different thing. We're not saying we're gonna go.
You notice that sigh? Because he's, I mean, no, Alistair, speak. You have operating flow. Okay, so he sighed there for a very specific reason. He was entering a space where the rest of the group knew exactly what they were talking about, and he couldn't compete. So he just records back, and that's it, and shut his mouth. This is why if you ever come across a narcissistic person, don't just walk away, if you can. If they're violent, walk away. But if it's like in a meeting and conversation, go toe-to-toe. Prove the facts. That's why they crumbled in courts, because they have nothing to show. Prove the facts and humiliate them in public. Now, please don't get hurt, because narcissistic people have the ability to hurt you. Just don't get hurt. But show your knowledge and intelligence in a proper way. They will fizzle like a pop. What's going on? Oh, my screen's breaking. Oh, my screen is back. You know, could you tell already who is my friend? I mean, I just rewatching this, I was like, wow, it's so painfully obvious. But then again, because I see him, like, hi, buddy, hi. You know, but for those who know me, you can tell exactly who it is. You can tell exactly who is my friend. We think alike. Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing? Am I open-minded enough? You know what? I'm 38 years old. I have a certain level of exigence to people when I'm going to hang out. If I'm going to hang out with you, beyond just the surface, you got to be a certain type of person. I'll be honest. You cannot be like that jerk. We're not going to fit. You can't be like that. So, you know. Anyway, so they go deep into some very inappropriate stuff. I'll put a link of this video down in the description if you want to watch in its entirety. I just can't stomach it anymore. Let's go to my final thought. So really, I think this was a perfect exercise in narcissism. I think we saw the Deborah Brooks situation where you have the narcissistic criminal, right? And you also have the everyday narcissist. You look at this man and he is absolutely angry. He is just filled with trauma, and he hides that trauma by doing what? By telling people to pick on the lesser sex. I gotta get his name. This guy, okay, you know what? This jerk, his entire way of making money is to downplay women and to talk bad about women and how you need to abuse women, allegedly, and how, like, in order to be a man, you had to be toxic. In order to be a man, in order to have a girlfriend or wife, you have to exhibit the dark triad traits, which is narcissism, Machiavellism, and psychopathy. And the crazy, scary thing about that is that he has 1.5 million followers. Now, granted, out of these followers, you have people who just follow him just because they find him funny. But you can maybe cut that down to 30%. So let's just say, 300,000, maybe more than 30%. 200,000 people who actually think and believe like him, to give you an idea of how they're everywhere. I can guarantee you no women who is in their right mind find this guy so attractive that they want to be like, hi, baby, do you want to have dinner together? No, women in their right cabezas would be like, this is someone who's going to assault me sexually if I'm not careful. This is everything that a woman would feel comfortable with. And to anybody who's friends with stuff like that, you have no idea how they're everywhere. You know, when I tell you, in my real life, I deal with narcissists like this at the office. This is like the typical CEO. This guy is a typical CEO. They're everywhere, and depending on the power level, you might have to suck it up. This is why I always say your first priority in life is not, don't get a new car, don't buy a new house. No, that's not your priority. Your priority is to secure your ability to walk away and say no. Yeah, I'm pointing the finger because you know how common it is. People are like, oh God, I have to. No. You secure yourself so you can be like, no, thank you. Oh, really? I have all the money. You can keep your money. Thanks. How dare you? It's okay. I'm just leaving. Yeah. Just walk away. Or be subject to abuse by someone like this. Anyway, let's go to my let's talk. The jacket again. It's really cool. I gotta pee. Let's go. Let's go to my let's talk. So, welcome to my let's talk. Listen, this is a place where welcome to the Let's Talk. This is a place where I usually take off the jacket, but I forgot the jacket today again to wear it on, and it's very cold and I really have to pee, but I didn't go pee in between. Why? Because the baby's here. I can hear her, and when Olympia walks in, I didn't pick her up today, and then she starts looking for me. Papa. Oh wait, press like, subscribe. Yeah, of course. Papa. You know what? Oddly, she's not making noises. Anyway, do you figure out who my friend is? It's Zach, the model, of course. So I figured, I was like, okay, because I was a model in New York City at the time, and we were roughly about the same age, and I met him because he was an American Next Top Model, and that's when I met him. And I was making some money, but modeling was not my thing, because my friend Johnny deleted himself because he put his value in his looks, and he just couldn't do it. And the reason why modeling wasn't my thing is because I say no to everything. Oh my God. Do you know how many times the word no saved my life? Plenty. I say no to everything. The first thing out of my mouth is no. And I think about it, I go, okay, yeah, sure, why not? And I lost a lot of opportunities like this. It's okay, because I'm still here and alive. And you can't really take advantage of me like that unless you get me real happy and drunk. No, but because I say no to everything, you have to work really hard. And I'm too much work that you go to the person who's going to say yes to you. I'm so dramatic, like my daughter. Listen, if you see Olympia, she's so dramatic. I have never met anybody as dramatic as her. I love it. Wait, no, stop talking about her because you're bored, people. Member video is coming out on a weekend, so everything is pre-recorded. I told you that, that. I don't know when I'm going to schedule for the weekend, but expect a weekend for member video. And in that member video, I'll be asking you for your opinion and for help in terms of content for the members, right? I just want to get your feedback and opinion on something, because I got a few things planning in my mind. What else? That's it. What's going on with you? One of the drawback of doing pre-recorded content is that I don't know what day it is. It's like, if I talk about this today, it's like it already happened, right? For example, to give you an idea, when I posted this, so let's go with the politics. So European politics happened. European politics happened, and Macron dissolved parliament. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. My head is blank. I tell you what's going on. I'm distracted a few things. I really have to pee. But if I get up, I'm going upstairs. So I can't get up yet. So my mind is like, boy, you better go out there and stop peeing, bitch. The second thing is, my daughter's not screaming. What's going on? So my brain is like, what do you mean she's not making noises? I know they're home. I hear steps. She's not making noise? What? All right. So my brain is like, go up there, what's going on, what's happening? I'm being nosy. And then I said, I don't know what else to talk about. The weather's great. I'm just working a lot. I dated everybody. The only person I haven't dated, and I was taken off the market before I could. South Asians and Asians. I didn't get the. Oh, here she is. She's screaming. Got it. Now that's the Olympia I know. South Asians and Asians. I never got the chance to date any of them because I was taken off the market before I could. Before I could, you know. And during my dating years, yeah, she's here. I don't know if you hear that, but she's here. Oh my God, Alistair, stop! I was gonna go talk about our conversation with me and Chris. Yeah, stop, Alistair. I have the best husband. Stop it. Stop it. That's like 3 days in a row. Stop talking about your husband. I can't help it. I have the best husband. Do you know? Okay, last one, then I gotta go. She's screaming. I gotta go see if he needs help. During our dating times, do you know what he would do? Christopher. First of all, Christopher body language is gift, and that's not mine. My body language is just have a seat and just sit there and do nothing. Quality time. That's how I want. And so very early on, he was giving me gifts, and I was like, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. I don't want the gift. Save your money. What do you want to do? Do you want to go sit there and stare at the wall? Yeah, let's do that. So because of I enjoy mainly quality time, our dates would be this. So he would come over to my house. We would go for the longest, stupidest walk. And then we would sit down by the water. That's where I lived. By the water. And we would lay back on the grass and talk. It's so sad. It's so stupid, isn't it? Yeah, and then talk. For a good year, all we did was just talk. Yeah, we would go to clubs, we would go to dance and hang out like that. But unfortunately, that was not a good experience for him because I enjoyed the urban scene. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, whatever. But the people around didn't really enjoy seeing Christopher with me. It was a whole black and white thing, right? And so they made him feel very bad about it. And at the beginning, he wasn't sure where I stood. He thought I was one of these harlots who would just roam around New York City sharing themselves. I wasn't like that. I was never like that. I was never like that. If I was exclusive, I'm exclusive, period. And I remember one guy. I'll tell you the scenario. So we were at the club. The club was named Secret. It's closed, and we were dancing to urban music. And I like to dance, darling. Yeah, and I get free drinks, of course. And so I'm turned up, and he's there turned up as well. And there's a way you can make yourself not available. So yeah, I was making sure that I was all over Christopher and be like, I'm not available. Thanks everybody. Thanks. I'm not available. And the process of dancing all night and drinking and laughing, we go outside, get some fresh air. We went outside and someone made a comment. It's like, so first of all, the person had the audacity. I'm sitting right there with Chris. He just walks right between me and Christopher, comes right up to my face, goes for a kiss. Now listen, I have a temper and I can fight. And you're not about to assault me like that. You're out of your mind. Not when I'm trying to woo this awesome thing here, So he comes running here, and I pushed him so hard. Look, I put this muscle to use. I pushed him so hard. He tumble. And I said, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he got very upset. He got on and be like, why are you hanging? Why are you with this man? Why are you with this man? Self-hate, you must hate yourself. He went on and on and on and on. And Chris felt really bad. And then we went home. And on our way home, I could tell he was a little unsure. And I said, I turned over and I said, I want you to know that I am into you so hard. Don't worry about it. And he's like, and then he said to me, "Oh, the club scene hasn't really been my thing. You know, I don't really like it that much." And I was like, "Oh, perfect. I've been looking for an excuse to exit it." Perfect. And then we could just stare at the stars and walk around the beach and do other things than the club. I was in the club scene all my fucking young life. I was like, "Oh, thank God. Okay, no problem. We don't have to." Nope, nope. And that was it. And that was the beginning of our restaurants, darling, museums, darling, traveling, darling. Oh, I love that. I was like, whoa, I really like that. And that was how I really started to enjoy other things in life. Me and Chris have awesome stories. You don't understand. You don't understand. We've been like this since we were 24, 23, 2009, 2010. I don't fucking know. Yeah, like ever since that night when we bump into each other, we've been inseparable. Think about that. Inseparable. And my love language is quality time. His love language is gift, but I don't want gift. Actually, I don't like gifts. I don't like surprises. So all we did is just spend time together, tickling one another, laughing, giggling. And I love his nose. I love his face. Enough, Alistair. It's actually quite annoying. Stop talking about him. I just don't know what else to talk about. Goodbye. Goodbye. I have to go see what kind of help he needs. And I've been here talking way too long. I love you for watching. No, go. Bye.